Hello Sagittarius, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Sagittarius for the week of September 19th. Now do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Let's go ahead and see what we have here for you, Sagittarius. Now I'm using the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot, the Ethereal Visions Tarot, as well as the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck. There are links to all of these decks in the description below if you'd like to pick them up for yourself. All right. Make sure we're all set up and in view here, and then we'll get right into it. All right. I think that looks just about good enough to me. We'll go ahead and take 1, 2, 3 of these Oracle cards to clarify as we go along. All right, very nice. So Sagittarius, energy here on the bottom. You have the Fool. The Fool says that there's a powerful new beginning in your life. And the idea here is, the key word is powerful, okay? Because the Fool starts off everything. The Fool is the first card in the tarot. It begins the Fool's journey or the hero's journey through the major arcana and through the tarot. And really, if you look at this illustration here, this person is leaping forward with nothing but what they could put on their back here, with nothing but whatever is they could fit in their backpack. They have their dog with them, and they're ready to kind of leap forward off of this cliff, not knowing if they're going to land or where they're going to go. And it's this idea of complete freedom, but it's also this idea of not necessarily worrying about what's behind you, not necessarily worrying about what's in front of you, but worrying about, or just being concerned about now, and being concerned about what is right here, right in front of you. And I meant to say not worrying about what's in the future. Not worrying about what's in the future, not worrying about what's behind you, but instead just being concerned about what is here and what is now. I think you get the picture here. But the Fool also asks you to sort of connect with your child self and recognize the value in feeling brand new again in a certain area of your life. And so I definitely feel like those sorts of themes could be showing up here. Some of you are really taking an empowered step forward here in a new journey, on a new direction, or on a new journey in a new direction. You're letting go of the things that just don't work. There could be a counterpart here as well, by the way, and it's interesting the way that this is working out. I'll talk about that more as we go along. This is kind of a general life reading. If I'm looking at this, well, I think if it's not a general life reading, I think there are going to be messages here for work, love, life. Like, I think that there are lots of different messages here. And the reason being is we have like 2 wands, 3 wands, we have 2 swords, we have 2 cups, we have a pentacle, we have 2 major arcanas. And so they're kind of like all of the different themes are playing out for you right now. And there are a lot of different ways that you could be going here. And so let's just go ahead and dive in and see what we have. So in the overall situation, or the current situation, you do have this 6 of Pentacles. This card is very important because it spills into the rest of the cards. And the 6 of Pentacles really says that, you know, right now you could be taking a moment to balance out the spiritual and the material sides of your life. This is all about spiritual and material prosperity. It's the idea that as you give, you receive. There's inflow, outflow going on here. This person is giving pentacles away, but the key is, as they give this pentacle away, or these pentacles away, the scale begins to balance out. And so it's this idea of sort of working in harmony with the universe, providing value to others, and not just like through charitable giving, but providing value through like, being there for a friend, or even giving helpful advice or healing words of advice to somebody that may need it. And so it's this kind of balance in those areas of your life. Now, in the past, you have the Tower, the Queen of Wands, and also the Page of Swords here showing up. And so, if I'm looking at this, it seems like there's been potentially, some of you, I do have to say, some of you might be engaged in catastrophe thinking. Okay, you could say that the Queen of Wands is you. You could also say that the King of Wands is you. I don't attach gender to my card, so it can literally be, you could be a king or a queen, it doesn't matter, or a page or a knight for that matter. It doesn't matter in my readings. And you know, what I feel like some of you, this could be you here showing up with this Queen of Wands. And you have the Tower above it. So this upper row is the row of your thoughts, and the Tower can feel like a catastrophe in your life. So putting that together, it's like catastrophe thinking because of the location that it is in this reading. Now the Tower can also, more importantly, the Tower is about some type of blessing in disguise coming into your life. It exposes something that was probably a false belief. In other words, you thought there was something that was stable in your life, and that it turned out that that actually wasn't the case. And so in that scenario, it's actually a good thing. You know, it's actually a good thing to have your false beliefs exposed, because who wants to live in a house of cards? Who wants to live or even be with, for example, in relationships, who wants to be with a person who doesn't really love you or doesn't really want to be with you? And so the Tower, it can feel like everything is collapsing around you, but ultimately it leads you to a healthy and a good outcome. It leads you to the Star, which is the card that's next to it. The Queen of Wands here, if it's not about you, it can say that you are very interested and focused on manifesting at this time. It's a major card of attraction. It's one of the cards that I consider to be a law of attraction card, in that the Queen of Wands can literally attract whatever it is that they want into their life, but they must be authentic. And so it is possible that some of you have sort of had this situation here that caused you to maybe move into catastrophe thinking. And, this may have really highlighted some areas of your life that you've needed to make changes on. You have the Page of Swords as well. The Page of Swords for me is like the Mercury retrograde card, because it can come up when there are situations around time delays, disappointments, setbacks, situations like that. And, we are in this Mercury retrograde. The Page of Swords has been coming in for everybody, almost everybody here over the past couple weeks. And so, yeah. Now, in the current situation, you have the Queen of Swords, you have the Six of Pentacles, and you also have the Five of Wands. Now, by the way, I did want to point out we have 3 queens here, and we have a king, so we have and a page, so we have 5 people showing up, but 3 of them are queens. And so definitely, I feel like some of you here kind of balancing yourself out, and I also think that I think that there's like a feminine energy here. Remember, we all have the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us, and it's like our job to sort of balance those sides of ourselves out, especially as you have this scale energy. And so I think some of you are also kind of working on that, like, do you know when to stop? Do you know when to start? Is kind of something that's coming into my head as I'm thinking about this. Are you giving yourself healthy self-care practices? Are you not? Like, these sorts of things are coming into my mind as I'm just looking at this, at the different court cards here on the spread. Now, this Queen of Swords in particular, this is somebody who has an extreme focus on something, okay? They are, I always like to say that, and I say this in a good way, but the Queen of Swords is like the assassin in the tarot. They do not let anyone or anything stop them or get in their way of completing their goal or getting to their outcome. And, I definitely feel like there's this interesting, I don't know, I'm looking at the pattern on the, whatever they're wearing here, the dress or whatever it is. And I'm like thinking about, like, it looks like a sky pattern. It looks like clouds. I think some of you are getting your heads out of the clouds, getting your head out of the clouds here. And I think some of you are narrowing your focus as well at this time. But there is this type of balance that is also showing up in this reading, which is like to say, don't be so focused that you miss what's going on outside of you. I know it's kind of a convoluted message, but I think for some of you, if you feel like you've kind of just been a little spacey, or you've kind of had your head in the clouds, I think some of you are maybe finding a focus on something, but also striking a balance between, like, going so hard on a task or on fulfilling an outcome that you also make room for self-care. That's also coming into my mind. So yeah, balance here is very important. And also, I think moving out of catastrophe thinking at this time, Sagittarius, you do have this Five of Wands. I do think that there's some type of inner turmoil going on here. This lower row is this lower row is the way that you talk to yourself. There could be an inner conflict here. There could also be a conflict between another person, and the reason being is that we have 5 people showing up here, and the Five of Wands. You can see there are 5 people here sparring on the card, and so there could be a conflict here. But what I would say is just recognize that you are capable, and you are more than capable of handling any sort of conflict that may come your way. And just keep that in mind. That can really help you build confidence, because conflicts are a part of life. We can't really escape them. And so just something to consider. Now, in the future, you do have the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Eight of Cups here. So I definitely like the way that the future looks for you. The future looks very bright for you here. And I say that because you have this full energy plus this Eight of Cups. For me, this Eight of Cups is a good sign. I love the Eight of Cups card. This person's walking away from situations that no longer serve them. They're walking away from whatever doesn't work, and they're moving in the direction of their goals. They're moving in the direction of their dreams. There's been something here around catastrophe thinking, or something, I know I've said it 100 times, but I keep returning to it. And if you look at this, there's a diagonal here with the Tower, the Six of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. Some of you striking a balance between maybe excessive thinking, excessive worrying, negative thinking, and you're striking a balance here between that and things in your life that make you feel good, and you're walking away from this Tower moment here. You're walking away from that, and you're moving into something much better. You have this King of Wands. Now, there could be a counterpart coming in here. What's interesting is the King and the Queen and the King of Wands are in the middle of the Queen and the King of Wands. You have this balance card. And so the thing is, if some of you are interested in love, there could be a counterpart here, but there's also a real need. There's a real need here for you to strike a balance in certain areas of your life. And you'll probably know what that means if you are watching this, okay? You probably know that there's something here that you need to kind of balance out. It could be an extreme focus on the material side of life, because we have the Queen of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles says that there's more to life than just money. There's the spiritual side of life as well. Their health as well. There are other things in life and other areas to balance out. You then have the Queen of Cups, which really asks you to take care of yourself. It's a major card of self-care. It's also a major card of intuition, trusting your gut, trusting the voice of your soul. So let's go ahead and take a look at these oracle cards here. All right, so you have Lady Portia, divine order, do what you feel is right, an important lesson is unfolding. You have Bridget, inner strength, move back to wholeness, recognize that you have the power. And you also have hope, love and acceptance, love is yours, recognize your divine worth, choose loving thoughts. I will say, right now, especially in this month of September, it's a really good idea if you have a conflict with somebody to try to respond from a place of love. I know it sounds woo-woo or whatever you want to call it, but if you can try to respond from a place of love, it would be very beneficial for you, because during these periods of time when Mercury is retrograde, it is very easy to say things that we later regret. And I just am feeling that message here at this time. And this recognize that you have the power is also very important. Many people are conflict averse because they feel like they are not powerful enough to successfully or handle conflict. Or what I should say is some people are not confident in the face of conflict, but you can really claim your power by dealing with conflict in healthy ways, which is approaching conflict from a place of love. And in doing that, you can really take your power back. So that's another thing that I want to sort of throw out there to you. So you have the Ten of Swords, you have the Devil. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, please do hit that like button and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow in a big way. So you have the Ten of Swords, you have the Devil, Three of Cups, the Lovers, Ten of Pentacles, and the Six of Wands. So, definitely love to see this here. in the clarifications. The negative thinking is something that you are, or the catastrophe thinking is something that is coming in heavy here. Ten of Swords, Tower, the Devil. And this is something that you are successfully working through at this time. This could be connected to a friend group or a social setting or a social situation. It could be connected to other people. I think other people here are showing up pretty heavily here. Remember, I said that there are 5 people on this reading, plus the 3 of Cups, which connects to your social circle, plus the 5 of Wands. You can see the 5 people sparring. And so it is possible here that some of you, this negative thinking, this level of thinking here is connected to another person or other people in your life, and just maybe like your soul group or your tribe, or your friend group or your social group or whatever it is. There's something here that you are working through at this time. You have the Lovers, the Ten of Pentacles. So the Lovers is a really deep union between you and another person. Something might have changed here or ended here for you. Some of you, this could be what the Tower moment was. There could have been an ending between you and another person. You do have the Ten of Pentacles here, which is major abundance and also good family energy. It's a major card of, it's sort of like the I made it moment. When you get the Ten of Pentacles, it's like the final pentacle or the final chest at the end of the rainbow. And it's your reward for having, worked hard all the way from the Ace of Pentacles going through to the Ten of Pentacles. And so it's a very good card. It can also be a card of like building your legacy, building something for the long haul, building something that you feel is long lasting and you feel good about. Lastly, you have the Six of Wands, which is major victory in your life. It's also public recognition. Some of you could be on social media here with the amount of people that I see on the board, plus the Three of Cups indicating groups, and the Six of Wands indicates public recognition or being in the public. And so, for some of you here, you could have social media accounts and you could be growing that out as well at this time. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe. Really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next reading.